Hi, Drew. Welcome to MovieJunk. How are you?
Hey, how are you, man? It's good to have. Thanks for having me back.
I should say, welcome back to MovieJunk. Yeah, so excited to have you return. As promised, you promised last time you came on that you'd be back, and we had such a blast during our first session. I can't thank you enough for coming back.
Well, you know what? It's good to have the success to be back. So things are going well.
Amazing, amazing. And you've been in some of my all-time favorite shows. We mentioned Breaking Bad and Friday Night Lights, and we went into detail, on these shows the last time that we met. But you've been quite busy since the last time we talked. You went out and made a Western on us, The Desperate Riders.
Listen, no rest for the weary. I don't think there's any kind of hidden thing about this. I love Westerns. I've done about 13 of them in my career so far. I'm a Texas boy, and I grew up on horses, and they're kind of my love animal. And we got an opportunity. I did a Western with this producer and director a year before called Shooting Star, that's coming out Father's Day. And then he called me back and said, "Hey, I got another Western," and I'm a true Clint Eastwood Unforgiven kind of guy, and this was that, and Trace Adkins and Tom Berenger were involved in it, and I said, "Yes, I'm in. Let's do this." And Trace, he just got a new series, and so Lionsgate grabbed it and really saw the value in it. And so they're going to take it out theatrically. I think February 25th is the first launch on it. And we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. If fans haven't seen the trailer, we're going to go ahead and share it, on this interview as well. But if fans haven't seen the trailer, I highly suggest watching the trailer of The Desperate Riders. And you mentioned, Trace Adkins, he stole the show in the trailer. That trailer was awesome. And Tom Berenger is also in it. Vanessa Evigan, Victoria Pratt. And if I'm not mistaken, are Victoria Pratt and Trace Adkins, those are real life husband and wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're married. I worked with Victoria on a sci-fi thriller called it was called I forget the name of it. I am so sorry. But we, back in probably 12, 13 years ago and stuff, we worked on a sci-fi movie, Mongolian Deathworms. That's what it was called. And so kind, so just an incredible actress and everything else. And when I heard that we were getting Trace Adkins and Victoria was also coming on, because they were a couple and stuff, and rightly so, she's very talented in her own right. It was such a joy to get back on and have a conversation with her. And I've met Trace a few times on a couple other different projects, and through Mom's Night Out and with Aaron Brothers and a few other things that he's did. But I've never worked with him. And knowing his wife and having that conversation and just getting to know him personally, it was such an incredible thing. It really was. He's just a good old down to earth kind of guy.
And I know, you mentioned you've worked on a handful of Western films, and it just seems like this genre is starting to pick back up, with the popularity of Yellowstone, on Peacock. So definitely, Westerns are hot now. And, this is you in a lead role as well. How did you first hear about this project?
It was a producer that I worked with on a couple different projects, Michael Pfeiffer. And he's one of those producer, director, writer phenomenons that he puts stuff together and it works. It makes sense, and he's able to get it to the finish line and put it together. So he called me and said, "Hey, he knows I love writing. He knows my background, and he goes, 'Hey, would you consider this?' And I read the script, and of course, Vanessa is amazing. She plays the co-lead in this thing, and she's a credible actress in her own right. Her dad, she comes from a huge line of actors and actresses, and just having that ability to go, we're doing it in Tennessee. I know the Wranglers. Being able to work with it, knowing that it was going to be authentic, I was like, I'm in. I'm in, because I love riding.
Yeah.
It's something. Most of the wranglers, every time I get on a horse and stuff, they look at me and go, "Drew, you like riding, don't you?" I go, "I don't want to get off. Just you let me know." You know?
And also too, I mean, this, being that you're also a filmmaker, you love writing as well too. Were you given any artistic liberty to kind of bring in your input into your character, your dialogue, your scenes, or kind of whatever was written, you guys had to kind of stick to that?
Well, I think that's the beauty of a collaboration, right? It's once you have a collective group that trusts each other, then you have the freedom to bring in and not push ideas, but just bring in ideas. And sometimes you just try things. And when action is called, the director's point of view and vision of it, as I'm a director as well and stuff, is make sure the story is told, make sure it's told in the right format and tempo and idea, so the audience believes it in a constant. And with Michael, with Pfeiffer, and with the cast, there's a trust, and what we gained really early is just this trust. And so the script is very important in any aspect of it. And sometimes it's the most important thing, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just an idea. And the casting of it gives you the opportunity to grow it and elaborate and bring it to life. And I think Desperate Riders is a great example of that, because it started out, and I'm not saying a small film, but it started out as not a film that we thought maybe that Lionsgate would pick up and take it theatrically. And we just knew it had legs. We had great cast on it, but because of the camaraderie on it and the trust of everybody on there, that's cast and crew, it allowed us to build it into something that is now, coming theatrically.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of art. It changes if you trust in the value of who you cast. And luckily they trusted in me, and they trusted in of course Trace is incredible, and Tom is incredible, and everybody. But luckily they trusted in that for us, as the vision of what the story needed, how it needed to be told, to take the journey. And so we were able to do that.
Yeah. And this is more of a modern take, towards this genre, and there were some really, really cool gun shooting scenes that we see in the trailer, some slow motion scenes as well. Was there any additional training that you guys had to do, just kind of warming up to get into this film, or kind of what was the pre-production process like?
No, it was very much so. I will say this about Pfeiffer, is that he takes a different approach to, I'm ex-military and stuff. I'm very familiar and aware of gun handling and everything else and what it takes. And the process of it is that, the Armory walks it over to, once it's ready and everything else. So the Armory walks it over, open gun, hands it to you, and he says, "Your gun," you say, "Mine," and then you recheck the gun, and then you're ready to go with blanks. Pfeiffer takes a different approach. He never used blanks or anything and stuff. It's always a cold gun on set. And so he doesn't worry about quarter loads, half loads, full loads, or anything else, telling everybody it's always a cold gun in there. And so he allows post-production to facilitate his actions. And all we have to do is, on the day, it's a little bit, because you don't have the true fire side of it. But I think if you understand the process of it, and of course I grew up with it, and it has to do with casting as well, with the trust of, you understand what's going on, you understand what's in your hand, you understand responsibility, and not to take away from anything, but he just believes that if it's in your hand, you can imitate the feel of when the trigger is pulled, and so he puts it in post.
Was it a challenging role physically for you?
Yes.
It looked like it. It looks like it.
Listen, the beauty of this film is it's one of those beautiful not beautiful mistakes, but it's just one of those moments that first week, 68 degrees, no snow. Second week, we got hit with that blizzard. We shot this in February of last year. So second week, we had hit with this blizzard that dropped 18 inches of snow. And so now you have to manipulate the script to feel like we went up further north into the mountains and stuff, so where there was snow dripping in, right? And then third week, snow's gone, sun's back, and then you had to redirect for that. So on the fly, we all had to re-innovate what we were doing, and the horses had to adapt. We had to adapt as human beings, because it went from 68 to 23 to sometimes 18 at night.
Wow.
And we started adding campfires, and we just had to redirect how it would work. And the beauty of being a small crew, you know, man, we were about 70, you know, total. So being a small crew and able to adapt and being smart about our surroundings allowed us to pull off something, you know, cinematically that you see. I mean, the poster, I'll tell you right now, I love the poster. That's a shot that we want to do B-roll because the snow's out there and stuff. So the horse wranglers, they're out of Tennessee. They trusted me with the horse. I've been riding for 20 plus years, and actually since I was 15, so longer than that. But they trust me, and they said, hey, and I just decided that I would take it at 100 yards, and the horse felt comfortable in the snow. There was no soft spots. We checked everything, and I just lit them up, and I pulled my Winchester 30-30, you know, full out rifle, and I was a full run sprint. You see the snow flying out, and that made the poster. That's the head of the post, but that's a shot in the movie. And we would have never got that if second week, you know, Mother Nature didn't drop 18 inches of snow. And just made it helped enhance the movie so much more.
Now, I'm not just saying this, you know, because of our interview, but I, in the last 2 weeks, saw Major League, Platoon, and also Born on the 4th of July, which Tom Berenger had a cameo in that as well too. I'm a huge Tom Berenger fan as well, and he co-stars in this film. I got to ask, you know, selfishly, you know, what's the man like, and what was it like working with him on set?
I will say this, and this is the biggest compliment I can give him, is that man is so seasoned. Every time he did something, I looked at him and I was like, this is a masterclass. This is a masterclass. It's effortless. He fell into it, and it was no acting involved. It was literally him just being that person, that character, and getting lost in it in an honest way. And I've said, and you can ask the crew on this, I said it multiple times during, I was like, my God, Tom, it's like watching a masterclass with you. It's so energetic, but yet also so overwhelming a little bit, because you got to step to it, because as actors, we make each other better. And so when Tom brings this, and you want to get to this, so you know, and every time it was just a stepstone, and we just kept pushing it back. And I think that's the beauty of, I got to see the end cut, and the interaction with me and Tom. It became this beautiful camaraderie that you believe of, yes, I believe this person can do this, and this person's doing this. And it's because he was so great at what he did, he allowed me to trust it even more. And I just kept pushing over him, and he kept coming over that, and it just made it more powerful at the end of the day. He's such an amazing, down-to-earth human being. I cannot wait to work with him again.
This is more of another fan question as well. Is there a certain character that whenever, I mean, you had the privilege of working with him, but is there a certain character that you see that you connect Tom most to out of all the films that he's played?
man, he he's such a gentle giant, you know. He's like he I think the beauty of Tom and why he has done so well, and I don't know if I can pinpoint it to one.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very
Because
tough question. Yeah.
yeah, he's I think that's the beauty of actors, right? So we
Mhm.
always chase that next one. We always do. And we enjoy certain things. Like, you know, my whole career has been cop coaches and cowboys.
Yeah.
I love that brand because that's where I'm comfortable with and stuff. But we always chase that next one. We always chase that next opportunity to see if we could push ourselves even further. And with Tom, he's such a humble, down to earth human being, and he understands his life. And the importance of, I think, life in general is just understand your life, not live outside of it, not do this, not do that. And it's not about the glory and fame with Tom. It's not about any of that. I didn't get that from him at all. And you know, we spent 4.5 weeks together, and he's just a great guy. But he'd much rather be relaxed, hanging out, riding his motorcycle, hanging out with his wife and his friends and everything else, and having these little opportunities than chasing down these huge opportunities and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that makes him a very real human being. And so every time he steps into a role, he becomes,
Yeah.
you know, what you think it should be because he's so relaxed. He's not putting the pressure against what he thinks it should be. He just steps into what he thinks what it should be.
Yeah. I
So
know
I don't know, you know, it's so many, he's done so many greats.
so
I don't
many.
know.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. I think for me, just kind of, I love Major League. It's one of my favorite films. I just always see him
Yeah.
as a catcher in Major League. It's just, with him and Charlie and then Wesley Snipes. Um, and again, just that's kind of the one. But then you got Platoon as well too. He always just reminds me of that character. So it's tough. But yeah, that's the amazing thing about acting is that you can be any character. And with folks like yourself, and obviously with him, you guys can dwarf into these characters and become those characters that you literally can be the villain, and then also be the good character as well too. So it's amazing.
Yeah, the beauty of seasoned actors and actresses, I say actors and I mean both, but it is the opportunity. Yeah, my claim to fame starting out in my career is Friday Night Lights. I did 3 seasons, and the writers on that show gave us the freedom to ad lib 40% of it. And so it was literally, you had to listen and respond, or you had to react to what you were being said in a way that carried over to the next side of it.
Yeah.
To get you to the finish line. And so it was a master class of, improv and listening and learning and responding and understanding and taking time. And you had to become a chameleon.
Yeah.
And so I was blessed and able to be able to start in that world, go to Friday Night Lights, go to Breaking Bad, go to True Detective, and be able to take that and balance it out between writing and execution to where you didn't overstep the boundaries.
Yeah.
And Tom, when I say watching him as a masterclass, we always have a script, but he always tended to rely on his instincts to make it better.
Yeah.
And when he made it better, your instincts had to kick in and follow suit and make it better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the joy and the journey of, you have to understand your character correctly and understand the storyline correctly so it all fits together. But I think those little nuggets of those moments that allow you to step out of it and take that journey and then follow suit and bring it back in, that's what makes it reality. That's what makes it real to where the audience can watch it and go, wow. Yeah. And Tom that's what I meant by a masterclass with him. When you watch that man, it may not be on the script 100%, but it is 100% correct with that character. And if you are seasoned enough to take the challenge to follow suit with that, the creative of it ends up, Lionsgate taking it theatrically, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know fans, I personally can't wait to see this film. I know fans are in for a treat. And just kind of touching back on, the Western genre as well. I know myself, I kind of grew up with Tombstone, Unforgiven. I was still a fan of the good,
Oh,
the bad, and the ugly. Did you have a favorite Western film growing up?
you just said, I just watched Tombstone the other night. Unforgiven is probably one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I think it has a beautiful balance of, last year I had an opportunity to shoot on the sets of John Wayne, right? That's where he shot all his Westerns and everything else in Arizona. And COVID, stripped it of me like it did to so many other people of things. But they're going back and they're shooting a different storyline there. And it opened my eyes as a director and producer going, you know what? I still want to visit that. I still want to go back to it. And I want to tell that story because I think there's so much honesty and beauty within that genre. It's so simple. If you look at the characters and you look at the structure and the storyline, today we enhance everything with visual effects. We enhance everything with explode whatever it is. Back then it was so simplistic. It was relying on the dialogue, character delivery, and the connection with the characters. And for me, Unforgiven tells a complete story. You have humor, you have loss, you have struggle, you have a disposition of a character, and you have the understanding of right and wrong. And so with all that, you find this character dealing with, you can be familiar in his struggles and follow his journey. It's like Breaking Bad. You could see how that character could go back.
Yeah.
He started out with good intentions. Even though it was wrong in the idea, he started out with good intentions. Then you could see how it could go back because he got caught up in the whole structure of it, right? Clint Eastwood just did an amazing job with that. They covered the whole gamut of, I don't want to do this. Don't put me in this position. You're putting me in this position. Back me up against the corner. The dark side's coming out. I tried to suppress it, and now it's coming back out. You did this. I didn't do this. Yeah. And you can see that struggle in life. In reality, we deal with that every day, personally. And that to me is the most exciting thing.
Yeah, Unforgiven was sort of that like comeback, Western film, for Clint. It always seems like every decade he has this amazing comeback film, and like after that, Gran Torino, it's like he never stops. You know what I mean? And would we expect anything else? Obviously with Unforgiven, and they killed it with the Academy Awards. They just nailed everything. That year. No, definitely one of my all-time favorite Western films and just films overall. And you touched on, real quick, I can't not ask you a Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul question. I know, the last time that we spoke, we discussed maybe the possibility of your character sneaking up because we're creeping to that time of Breaking Bad. And this is the last season of Better Call Saul. I'm sure you're not able to share too much, but what would the odds of your character potentially landing in the last season of Better Call Saul?
I can say, unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen. It's one of those things I wish it would happen because that cast and crew was just such an amazing experience. I did season 2 of that, and a dear friend of mine, he was Sneaky Pete. Charles Baker, and I've worked with a few other people. I'm working on an HBO series called Love and Death right now, and some of those actors were on Breaking Bad, so we've talked a lot about that whole storyline, and we feel like there's some great opportunity of spinoffs, But yeah, I don't think my character would come back unless a couple of other characters would come back. And so as much as I would love it, because again, it was just one of those shows. It was like Friday Night Lights. The Friday Night Lights became a family to me. I did 3 seasons on that, and it just became this journey of trust and knowledge. You're working with Kyle Chandler and Taylor Kitsch and Michael, and I mean just all these amazing actors. I'm working with actually oh gosh, I should know this and I'm blanking on it, and I apologize. Elizabeth Olsen right now, and
Oh,
wow. He did Jungle Cruise. He was the Russian bad guy.
Oh goodness, I'm drawing a blank too now.
I worked on Friday Night Lights. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh my goodness.
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what? So I'm working with Brad Keller, and Jesse Plemons, and Elizabeth Olsen.
He's been on a run. He's been on a great run. These last.
Jesse's been, yeah. He's, you know what? The beauty of Jesse is that he's still the same guy that I knew back in Friday Night Lights day. He is incredible. He's talented, well-deserved, but he's just a humble, still the same guy. And I think that's the value of what you take from this industry. And, you have these incredible fans out there, and we appreciate them and we love them. But the reality of it is that every day we just wake up to a job, and we love what we do, and we chase what we do. And we're so appreciated and joyful that so many people appreciate it back. But when you see that success of Jesse, and you see that success of so many people and stuff, and you reconnect with them, and you realize, and you see that they have not changed in their ideas, it makes it so much better, because then it's just, you just come back to the same place that you started, and you just have fun. And so on set, like we've been shooting Love and Death through the holidays. We took a break right before Christmas, and they just kicked back up, and I go back out in February to finish out. But we're on set, we're just hammering it up in between takes. We're just having a good time. Everybody trusts each other. Everybody's relaxed. Everybody's having a good time. It's not about, oh my God, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. It's just, yeah, hey, man, congrats on your success, everything else. Oh, by the way, blah, blah, blah. We're just having a good time.
Yeah. No, Jesse's been on an amazing run. He was awesome in The Irishman. He's also going to be in The Killers of the Flower Moon with both Martin Scorsese films as well.
Yep.
Any chance that he gave you any light into that film at all, or did he discuss? I know you mentioned you guys probably didn't talk shop, but did he shed any light on working on that film at all? Or
no, we're tight-lipped. We nowadays studios don't like leaks. Nowadays studios don't like leaks, so you got to hold it strong.
Absolutely. No, and also too, I mean, so February 26th, Death of Riders is coming out, theatrical release. Are you able to share some of your upcoming projects that are also slated to come out this year? Because you've been really busy.
So we have I have another Western coming out Father's Day called Shooting Star.
Yep.
Excited about that. I tell you what's beautiful about Shooting Star is that it's a journey of a father raising 2 young, beautiful daughters to be independent, because we lost our mother. They lost their mother, and I lost my wife early in life through a disease that kind of it took it away from us. Took her away from us, and then you see the struggle of a father trying to raise these 2 beautiful young girls in an environment that is a very strong men-driven environment, and it's a competition that comes up. Colt, the gun manufacturer, and my oldest daughter my youngest daughter needs surgery. My oldest daughter is trying to figure it out. She hears about this in town. I'm working, trying to, maintain a roof over everybody's head and everything else. And she wants to compete. And I was in the war. And so through that, yep, you there?
Yeah.
I lost you. Through that, we have the struggle of, family and father and daughter, and it's too dangerous. No, to she's persisting. And I finally agreed to train her, and I was shot up in the war and everything else. And so it allows it to go. But I think the beauty of this story is that at the end of the day, the director decided to keep it black and white, not make it color, and it makes it aged in black and white.
Oh, wow.
It's such a beautiful visual story because it's in black and white, because it ages it automatically. So you think it's a period piece. You think it's already been shot back in the 50s, right? 40s, even 30s, maybe. It feels like, well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe like the teens. If you look at the teens and you look at the black and white side of it, and you look at where we're at and the way it is and everything else, it feels dated that far back because it's in black and white. And he got pressure wanting to turn it to color, and he kept saying no. And we all agreed. We all watched the final of it and everything else. And I was like, no, I'm leading. And I was like, no, do not. There's something special about it. There's something that is dated, that is historical about black and white.
Yeah.
From that period, telling this story. If you turn it to color, then it's just another one of these stories.
One of the greatest films.
It was the right choice.
Yeah,
it was the right choice. It comes out Father's Day. Do what?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying, one of the greatest films of all time. Schindler's List was in black and white, and that movie, if it was in color, I don't know if it would have the same impact.
No, I mean, the sad truth about Schindler's List and everything else is that it was like an off-white, gray-black, stripe, setting, and so telling it in that, it just gives that dauntingness of that. It just gives that heaviness of it. And I think the beauty of his choice to do that, and Schindler's List, one of the greats. You cannot deny that. The story that is told in that is just, oh my gosh, it's heartbreaking. It's just what it is. But I enjoy that the director had the insight to go, no, I want to keep it black and white. I do not want to take it color, because if I take it color, it minimizes the period, and it minimizes because it's something about modernizing, right? Yeah. Once you modernize something, everybody feels it becomes a little bit easier if you understand it. In black and white, it's still a little bit foreign, but the storyline of Shooting Star, you can follow the storyline very easily.
Yeah.
And by keeping it black and white, I think it's going to be a great success in its own right because of it. I mean, the kids are amazing. Those two little girls, my daughters, phenomenal. They are, wow. They blew me away.
Did you produce this film as well? Is this part of your film company as well, or?
No, this one's not. This one, I was very lucky, and it kind of fell upon me. A friend of mine couldn't do it. He was tied up on another feature, and the producer asked him, and producer and director asked him, would you recommend anybody? And I think this is what great note, relationships, just being trusted in this industry, in that brand. And he goes, yeah, call my buddy Drew. And I was actually at Oklahoma. I was at the horse show in Oklahoma City when I got the call. And I was there for my charity, Wish for Our Heroes. And I got the call, and I talked to the director, and he goes, "Can you ride?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm actually at a horse show right now riding." And you know, I've been riding since I was 12 and or 15, I should say, you know, but it fell into the lap of what I wanted and what I really wanted to do. And so we talked a little bit. He sent me the script. I read it, and I was like, "Man, I'm all in. Let's go." And we shot it up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, or not. I'm sorry, Santa Clarita, California, with Peter. Oh gosh, what's Peter's last name? He was in Tombstone and everything else, but we shot on and that script his rants, and it just, the girls, they really hadn't did anything. They were, it was kind of their first thing to do, and they came on so natural to the characters. As a single father raising two daughters, they want to see me happy. You know, of course, there's courtship within my relationship and the character, and they just the honesty and the natural ability of these two young girls were amazing, and it just elevated everything. And then when he took that and he made it black and white, you know, it was just,
Yeah, no, definitely can't wait to see. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and share that as well too. And I can't wait, for February 26th. Again, for fans of Desperate Riders, I'm going to share the trailer link so folks that haven't seen it can see it. And again, it does have that modern feel, towards the Western film as well. And we touched on, if you're a fan of the Unforgiven, Tombstone, this is going to be right up your wheelhouse. So can't wait to see it. Can't wait to share with the fans. And Drew, I want to be respectful of your time. I know it's late on your side. Always have a blast having you on the podcast. Just as a fan, I can't let you sneak out. I know we were able to get you to do it on the first interview. Is there any way we can get you to say, fallacies one more time before you leave?
all right, listen, between Friday Night Lights and all the hate mail I get because, Dylan East, Dylan West, and Kyle Chandler, me and Kyle are dear friends to this day. He introduced me to my best friend, Wish for Our Heroes. But it was such a beautiful conversation every time we got together, because I get all this hate mail because I took Kyle's job on Friday Night Lights and everything else. Breaking Bad, everybody comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, what's that song? What's that song?" It's fallacy, fallacy, fallacy. Hey, and then I look at my kid and say, "Hey, come on, eat your carrots, eat your carrots." And it was just, I didn't know how to play the bass. I had to go learn how to play the bass so I could learn how to thumb it.
You rocked it. It's your wife in that scene. If she just allowed you to take in Jesse Pinkman, who knows if we even would have had a Breaking Bad? Who knows? All he needed to do, if he had that shelter and didn't veer off, show may have ended right there.
listen, you got to marry a smart woman. You know what?
Yeah.
We live from dreams and reality. Sometimes you get to marry a smart woman. Get down that road.
Drew, thank you very much. Again, can't thank you enough for returning. This means that we have to bring you back for round 3 at some point as well too. So stick around for that as well, and can't wait to see the Desperate Riders. Thank you very much for joining again, and I really hope to talk soon.
Listen, always a pleasure. I appreciate the time. Coming up, we got some internal things happening and stuff. We got an incredible Christmas movie that is kind of like the holidays that we just we're almost greenlit on, so we're going to take that down. We got a couple other movies, and then I got my own Western I'm going to be doing. So there's some great growth happening. More so, I'm excited about the opportunity to just bring new ideas to the audience and intrigue them, because I'm a movie fan. Just like you, I love watching films and television shows, watching character development, watching ideas and understanding them and getting lost in them.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting all the way around. And you know, times are changing a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think the need for just honesty within characters so people can relate is still always going to be there and still strong. And that's what we're chasing down. So
Yeah. I know it's a little blurry. I know I can see the light over there, but I'm also an aspiring writer. I hope one day I can write, something for you one day. It'd be a tremendous honor. And again, can't wait to see all your upcoming projects and just, can't thank you enough and want to do this again real soon.
well, listen, I'm always open for a pitch. You know, we have locations and like I said, I'm shooting a international commercial right now. I'm a director on it. And we're on this shoot for 3 days, and then I go to another film or another television show, and then I go back to HBO shooting Love and Death in February. And so in between all that, I'm looking for ideas because we have locations. So we should talk outside of this, not to drag your fans into this and everything else, but I'm always excited about ideas because that's what creates the start of it. You have to have an idea spark.
Yeah.
And then you go, we love this. Let's take the direction. Let's move forward with it.
Absolutely. Definitely we'll take you up on that. And also too, if I'm not mistaken, you also have access for fans looking to get into acting where you do some training and teaching, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. So my wife, Warner Laughlin, is her mentor and her coach. And my wife end of last year, opened up a studio called Greenlight Acting Studios. And it's funny, we picked the name about 3.5 years ago because we were going to do a podcast. Yeah. And it was all about Greenlight starting. And then, of course, Matthew McConaughey came out with his book, Greenlights. And I listened to that podcast 3 times. I love that. I love the story. I love the message. I love the creativity behind it. I love how he just gets lost in life and he loves life, right? And I think the value is like take that journey of life, because if you don't, you'll miss out. If you do, you never know what you're gonna miss. You'll never not know what you're gonna miss. You're always gonna be in that thing, and that journey may take you to incredible places. And when she said, hey, I'm ready to do this, I want to open up. And so we built the studio the end of 2020. And it just, Warner Laughlin came on board. She's been very positive towards it, and her and my wife have collaborated, and of course Warner Laughlin is Ryan Reynolds and Amy Adams and all these other incredible actors and actresses private coach. And she taught my wife Erin Bethea on Fireproof and some other films. And it's just a healthy value. And so she knew and she understood that what we go through as actors, the expense that we need for headshots and trying to build reel and trying to do all this other stuff and struggling day to day trying to pay the bills and all that stuff, she understood the stress and value on it. And so what she wanted to do is build a studio that was actors for actors. So it's working actors, whether it be series runs, top show guest stars, recurring writers, that are successfully sold. You can go to greenlightactingstudios.com and you can see her whole list of talented teachers, but they're all successful in their own right, in the sense that they're constantly growing and working. They're not stagnant. And that keeps the value down and gives the opportunity for those who want to be serious actors to come in without blowing the budget every single time. Yeah. To grow and learn and see and be a part of. In fact, on this set, and it's not what she does, but on this set, the producer on this said, hey, would you guys like to cast this thing completely out? And I was like, Aaron, you want to cast this thing out? And so we were able to take talented people that have been studying and stuff that are actively pursuing it, right? There's those that say, hey, I want to be this, and they're not actively pursuing it, but they're actively pursuing it. So we went to different studios that she has relationship with, Greenlight and multiple other studios, and we casted this thing out in. Yeah. And there's a Lifetime movie coming up that we're doing the same thing with. It's just that trust and value of not trying to take from something, but trying to grow something.
Yeah.
And she's doing a great job with it. I'm very, very proud of her.
No, I mean, that's amazing. And even for, for me, I never thought that, this platform, there's a lot of aspiring actors and writers that I see in the comments. And I always, like to take, just time just to kind of seek any advice, that filmmakers can give, to folks that are looking to, get into the industry. And if there's anything that, I can do where I could share, kind of a segue, for folks, that's something that's an honor of mine. So yeah, definitely. I mean, if we can share the link to, your acting studio where we can kind of, get folks to access you as well, I'd be honored to do that.
I would love it. Thank you so much and stuff. She's been doing a lot of virtual lately. A lot of people. She does a lot of private coaching and everything else, and she's had a lot of success. I think the most important thing as an actor or any kind of creative entertainment, anybody pursuing anything in that, I think the most important thing is look at who you are. Whether it be my wife, whether it be anybody else, look at their background, right? Don't take them just for their word of, hey, you have this knowledge. Look at their background, because their background is going to give you an idea of what you're going to get. And and I'm not taking away from anything, but it's kind of like critics. Everybody says a critic's a critic because they can't be the other thing. And so they got to critique it because of the bitterness or whatever it is, right? We all hate critics or we love critics, depending on how it comes out. Yeah. But I don't think that's true. I just think that there's the wrong value within the way they're approaching it. And they got caught up in the following in the social media of it. So they have this brand that they got to stay with. And so they're used to being either harsh on this, not so harsh on this, and the following is that. In acting, I don't think it's necessarily that way. I think it is, you have to find the truth and honesty within yourself first, the platform, the trust, and the security to be able to then branch out and get lost and have the vulnerability. And with Greenlight, we collaborate with other people because if we're not right for you, my wife says, if I'm not right for you, I don't want to take you in. I want to take you over here because I'm a working actor. I understand the struggles, and I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to make you better, because if we can build a community that collaborates and makes each other better and grow that community, then we're hoping that we all grow with it, whether it be me, whether it be her, whether it be you, whether it be anybody else out there wanting to achieve something. We hope that we all grow with it, because it makes life a little bit easier and it makes the journey a little bit softer. It's not so hard.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages now that we have, with Zoom. I mean, look at the platform that we're on right now. This podcast is possible because of Zoom. Some of the challenges that folks have is they don't have the time to go in and take the classes to learn. But with Zoom, you can kind of do it on your own schedule and also on the teacher schedule as well. And it allows you to not only meet with folks locally, but also, nationally or globally as well too. So, that networking or that circle becomes bigger. So definitely, I mean, this has opened some opportunities that would have been probably more difficult. And you probably know it's probably much different now, maybe even the audition process than what it was like. You can probably do things virtually now too, right?
A lot of it is. The last big two productions that I booked was on Zoom, and then We do all our table reads on Zoom now. You know, it's changed a lot. I enjoy being in the room with people. I understand, but I understand why. And as a creative, I miss the energy. But again, I understand why. And you just adapt and you accept and you go, okay, it's not going to be forever, and we just work forward to it. But it's those moments that you get to interact honestly. It's those moments that as an actor, listen, I can't tell you why I'm an actor outside of I fell in love with it. And it took me 5 years after I fell in love with it to take a chance on myself to do it. And then it took me 18 months to get a role that would 3 years later give me Friday Night Lights. That, and it just kept going. And for the last 18 years, I've been a working actor. I've been a successful, knock on wood, working actor, making a living just acting. And for the last 11 years, I've owned my own production company. And and so we always evolve. We evolve into what excites us. And what I would say, don't outgrow what excites you. Just chase what excites you. Don't try to chase past it to come back to it. Just chase what excites you with passion and be honest about it. And you'll find the avenues that you want. But also be realistic. I audition probably 4 times a week. And, luckily I book 1 of 4 right now. My booking ratio is decent and I'm doing well, but you got to understand there's a lot of people auditioning. If I'm auditioning, there's probably about 300 people doing the same thing, and then it's narrowed down. Then it's narrowed down to that. Then you get to 2. Then you get a button, you're pinned. You are, and that means that you're 1 or 2. Availability, they got you first right of refusal on the production side of it. And so there's a lot of factors that go down because there's a lot of competition and opportunity. But don't look at it as competition and opportunity. Take advantage of the resource. Show up, do the homework. That's what my wife is about. That's what Greenlight is about. It is helping you understand, do the homework, think outside of the dialogue, and become something more so than what the dialogue is, and change the idea of what casting think they're looking for, right? Because at the end of the day, there's just looks somebody real in that character.
Yeah.
Not somebody robotic that can just speak the words. They're looking for somebody that has these little bitty just quirks and nuances that just steps them up, over everybody else.
Yeah. And what I hear as well too is that even if you don't get the part, it's important to obviously go in as best as you can, because that casting director will then remember you for the next part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, definitely. And Drew, I could talk to you for hours, and I want to save some more room for round 3. It's my excuse to get you to come back. Again, can't thank you enough for joining, and really looking forward to see the Desperate Riders as well too. And can't thank you enough for coming back on MovieJunk.
Man, always. I appreciate it. It's always been a kind journey with you guys. And listen, if I can ever do anything for you, let me know. I apologize. I'm all red and I'm not all put together, but I literally 30 minutes before this, I got off. We wrapped for today, and we got to start back 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So it's always work. Everybody think it's glamorous when you're in front of the camera and everything else, but it's always work.
Absolutely. And that's, again, you guys stay busy, allows folks like us to stay busy as well and be able to share with the fans. So definitely, again, thankful and excited to see your upcoming works.
Well, thank you very much, everybody out there. Go chase your dreams, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It doesn't have to be in movies, doesn't television, everything else. Go chase your dreams. You know, you only have one life. Go live it. Have fun doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll do. And thank you, Drew.
Pleasure.